Hello friends and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Laura and today is going to be the first video for a new series I'm going to be starting here on my channel. I've always wanted to do these sort of monthly reviews where I review products that I tried out over the course of the month of January in this case, but I don't want it to be just reviews on new products that I tried out over the month. I also want to talk about old products in my collection that maybe I've fallen out of love of or started re-loving, maybe product combinations that I really was opting for over the month. I want to talk about my empties, products that I emptied out and whether I will be repurchasing them or not. And I will obviously still discuss the new products that came into my collection this past month, and I will be ranking them based on my favorites and then my likes and my dislikes. This is already going to be a very chatty video, so I'm gonna skip right on to that part. Before I do that, please make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and without further ado, let's get on to the rewind. Alright, so don't mind if I keep peeking over here. I have some notes written on my laptop, so I make sure that I don't leave any details out. I'm gonna start off by discussing the new products in my collection this month. First, we're gonna be talking about my favorites. So these are gonna be products that I really loved over the course of this month and that I will continue to use and reach for in my collection. And I'm gonna be ranking them by order. And first, we're gonna be talking about my absolute favorite find from this month, the Merit Glow Stick. This guy right here. So this is a highlighter stick. I have it in the shade Cava. It is the most emollient stick that I've ever used. Usually highlighter sticks are very dry and waxy, but this one is so emollient and just blends seamlessly into the skin. As you can see, it just blended into my hand and it gives the most beautiful sheen. It's very natural. No glitter. It just kind of gives you that glow from within look. I have it on today. I pretty much have a full face of most, if not all, of these products that I'm going to be reviewing today. What I really like about this product as well is that it works really well on naked skin, on regular foundation, and on top of a powdered base as well. So for example, today I had all powder products going on and it still performed really well. It did not leave that streak that you usually see with highlighters, especially on top of a powdered base. So I truly think it is a remarkable product and I definitely see it becoming a favorite in my collection. My second favorite from this month is the Nudestix Tinted Cover Foundation. I've actually been testing this out since the month of December. It is a lovely your skin but better foundation. It has medium buildable coverage with a natural finish, so it's not too dewy but not too matte. It's just a beautiful in between and it honestly just looks like your skin. This is also the foundation that I have on today. It doesn't emphasize any of my acne scarring or my texture. It's actually a very hydrating formula, and I know that this has a lot of actives in it that help with anti-aging as well, so you get a bit of a skincare aspect to it too. I haven't had any problems with it settling into lines. I do have that issue when it comes to my chin and around my nose, and those areas look flawless so far. I've had it on for a couple of hours today and I've never encountered that problem yet. It lasts really nicely on the skin. The fourth product I'm going to be discussing is the Patrick Ta Blush Duo. I have the shade Do We Know Her. I first want to talk about the packaging. It is so beautiful and luxurious, and I love that the cream section has a little cover that you can use to prevent cross-contaminating the powder with it, which will only help the cream last longer and for it to perform better on the skin. The thing I love the most about this product is how long it lasts on the skin. There was one day where I had my mask on for maybe 6 hours consecutively and I took it off and this blush was still on. I did not have that line that I sometimes get when I have a mask on for a certain period of time. The color did not fade at all. It literally looked like I had just applied it on my skin. And it is for the sole purpose that this goes in my top favorite blushes of all time, to know that it is going to last so long on the skin without you having to touch it up or worry about it fading during the day, because usually blush is the first product to fade on your face as the day goes by. I also love this color. I think it's going to be such a fun color for the spring and the summertime. Patrick Ta actually has a specific way of application for this blush, and it's basically that you put the powder on first and then go on top with the cream with a damp sponge, and that is what I did today. It's an okay technique. I think it's a very unique way to apply blush, but it doesn't really do anything crazy or mind-blowing to the formula. It kind of applies the same as it would have if I just used the cream on its own. I also find that it's not the best technique for longevity. The day where I had this on for hours and it didn't fade, I did the cream first and then the powder. So if you are looking for this product to last a bit longer on the face, I would recommend going with that technique. For number 4, I chose the Mcgrath Mothership Mega Celestial Odyssey palette. You guys know how obsessed I am with Mcgrath's eyeshadow formula. It is impeccable. It never fails me. This palette is no different. I am actually in the process of filming a 3 looks 1 palette with this product, so I will be going into a bit more depth about it in that video, which will hopefully be out after this one. So make sure you're subscribed for that. I used it to create the eye look that I have on today as well. I think if you were to invest in an eyeshadow palette from Mcgrath, this would be a great one to start because it is a bit cheaper than her other palettes and you get a bit more of a wider color selection with this one. So you get to actually test out the formula. I also love this color story. I feel like there is an endless number of looks that you can create with all these colors. You can go from natural to full glam, and it is such a versatile palette that if you are looking to invest in this palette, you will not need any more than that. For number 5, I'm choosing the Nudestix concealer. This is another Nudestix product that I tested out this month. I have it on today and it is a beautiful natural concealer. It doesn't have a crazy amount of coverage. It is by no means a full coverage concealer, but it is pretty buildable and it builds up in a way that doesn't cake up. I think it offers decent coverage. Like, you can still see a bit of my dark circles, but not in a unflattering way. It has a similar finish to the foundation, but the thing that stood out to me the most about this concealer is the fact that it does not crease on me. If you've been following me for a while, you know that every single concealer I have tried on this planet has creased on me, and yes, that includes Tarte Shape Tape. I have always had to powder my concealers to avoid them to crease, and even in that case sometimes they do crease. But this one, on the other hand, I could have this on for a few hours and have no creases whatsoever, and if I did have it for a really long period of time, it does settle into my lines, but in a way that is barely noticeable. Like, I will literally need to drag my eye down and look up close in a mirror for me to notice. I believe they have some sort of technology with this product that allows it to sort of move with your skin instead of just settling into your lines, and that is why it does so well when it comes to creasing. But because of that reason, this quickly became a favorite and possibly a top favorite in my concealer collection. And then the last part of my favorites is another Merit product. There will be a few Merit products in this video just because I received a PR package from them earlier this month. So if you would like to check out my Merit first impressions, I will link it and somewhere on the screen, but this is kind of my formal 1 month in review. This is the lip oil in the shade Taupe. I have it on today. I think this is a beautiful lip oil. It's very lightweight on the lips. It's not sticky at all and not thick, and obviously as a lip oil it hydrates very nicely as well. I used it today with a lipstick underneath, but it does have a decent coverage to it if you use it on its own. It's more like a medium coverage. I don't know if it's because this is one of the lighter shades, but it seems like it provides a very even application. It's not super patchy when it comes to pigmentation, but I definitely want to test that out with the darker shades because that will truly put this product to the test. But this shade Taupe is a beautiful everyday peachy nude. Alright, so now we're going to be moving on to my likes. So these are products that I did like, but maybe I found certain flaws to them, or they're just products that simply did not stand out to me and that didn't feel really unique to me. I'm going to be talking about these in no specific order. First, I have the Merit Brow 1980 Brow Gel. I have the shade brown, so it is a tinted brow gel. I think it does what a brow gel is supposed to do. I have never been a fan of a lot of tinted brow gels. It's very hard for me to find one that I like, but the color is nice. It does provide a nice even application and has a nice hold to it. It makes my brows look very voluminous, and I can use it on its own without having any issues with bold spots and stuff like that. I did fill in my brows with a pencil today and use this on top, but I can get away with just using it on its own. I just don't think the formula was very unique, and I would personally prefer my Benefit or the Milk Fiber Brow Gels over this one. Oh, and also another thing to note is that it's very interesting that the actual applicator is the longer side of the product as opposed to the shorter one. The shorter part is the one with the actual product in it, so you do get less product than the other brow gels in my collections with this guy. I also tried out the Anastasia Beverly Hills black liquid liner this month, and I only bought this for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to apply dots. You guys know I like to apply dots sometimes to my eyeshadows, and it can be a bit hard to do that with a felt tip pen. So I bought a liquid one because it will be a bit easier to do it, and it does the job for that. The black in it is super pigmented and it dries out matte. I think that's all I have to say about this product. It's nothing too crazy. Next up, I have the Nars Radiant Longwear Foundation. When I first tried this on in my last Shop My Stash video, I was not impressed by it. I did not like the finish at all because it gave a very matte look, and it claims to be a radiant foundation. And I am more into radiant products nowadays as opposed to matte ones. So I was a little disappointed to see it perform the complete opposite of what I was expecting. But I did try it out again with a different primer, and it did give a very luminous glow to it. But keep in mind that the primer I used underneath was also a very, very luminous dewy one, so it's only natural for the foundation on top of it to perform that way. I did like the finish of it, and I love the coverage. I like that it doesn't cake up or crease in any areas, and it is a very long wearing foundation. It also doesn't emphasize any of my acne scarring and texture, but this is one of the more expensive foundations in my collection. And for something at that price point, I would expect it to perform the way it claims to with any primer underneath. I wouldn't have to limit myself to what to do with my skin prep in order to get this foundation to look a certain way. I will obviously still go for this on days where I want a bit more coverage than, say, the Nudestix one, but I don't think it is worth the money. Next up, I have the Merit Mascara. Also another mascara that I really liked. It is a very natural one, so it doesn't give a lot of crazy volume or anything, but it does give a nice length to your lashes and separates them really nicely. I also think it's a really great lower lash mascara. I used it as a lower lash mascara today, and the fact that its applicator is a bit smaller allows me to get a better hold on my lower lashes because they are a bit shorter. I think this is a great mascara for the days where I want a bit more of a minimal look. I also really like that this has a square packaging to it as opposed to the traditional circular packaging that we see in mascaras. Next up, I have these Ace Beauty lip liners. I have the shades So Gorgeous and Be Peachy. So one is kind of like a peachy nude, and this is a bright true red. I mostly tried out the Be Peachy. I tried the red one on once this month, but I mostly opted for the nude one. I think it's a decent lip liner. It's very creamy and glides on the lips smoothly. It has good pigmentation to it, and it's not very drying at all. I think both colors are very beautiful depending on the kind of look that you're going for. And lastly, we have my dislikes for the month, and I only have one product in this section, and it's the Merit Perfection Stick. This is supposed to be like a concealer and foundation stick in one. I certainly did not like it as a foundation at all, but I did try it out as a concealer, and I was really on the fence about it because on some days it looks good and then on some days it doesn't. On the days where it looked good, it was a great natural concealer that didn't provide a lot of coverage but just kind of evened out your under eyes. And then on the days where it did look bad, it was so patchy and emphasized texture that I didn't even know I had. It's also a very thick product, which I'm typically not a fan of, and that made it a bit harder to blend. I would have to rub a bit harder to get it to blend a certain way, and that's definitely not ideal for your under eyes as it is a very sensitive area. I do like the packaging, and I do like that it is a stick which has a certain convenient ease in its application, so it's perfect for days where I'm in a rush and need a quick fix. The formula, however, is not my favorite, and you just never know if you're gonna have a good day or bad day with this one, so it's not really reliable. Alright, so I have a few additional products to discuss for this month, and the first one's gonna be the Milk Hydrogrip. I did kind of go through this in some of my previous videos for the month. I did really like this when I first tried it out. It was a great go-to primer on the days where I wanted a bit more longevity, but I kind of fell out of love with it the more I started falling in love with dewier radiant natural foundations, because this isn't really the best product to use underneath those kind of foundations. It's a very tacky primer, so it's great if you want it to grip to your foundation and help it last longer, but it doesn't really do much in terms of hydration or glow or smoothing. Because of its tackiness, it can make cream products that you apply on top very difficult to blend. I have tried this out on no foundation days, and I would apply a cream bronzer or cream blush on top and it would just hold on to the primer because of how grippy it is, and then it would become so patchy and difficult to blend, and it would give these random splotches all over my face, and I've had to redo my makeup a few times because of that. So you definitely need to use a foundation if you are going to go for this product. It also makes your foundation a lot more difficult to blend. And if you saw my last Shop My Stash video, it was the primer that I used with the Nars Radiant Longwear foundation, and it really mattified it. And maybe that's the reason why I had a bad first impression of that foundation. I just don't think this product is for me anymore. I will probably still reach for it on days where I want a bit more longevity to my face and don't really care about having a dewy base, but it's definitely not going to be a go-to from now on, at least for the time being. And I did try out the Milk Kush Volumizing Mascara, but I will not be reviewing it for this month's video just because I've tried it twice so far, including today. I tried it on with a mascara primer today just to add a bit more volume, and it performed really nicely. But I don't have enough experience with it yet to give a full review, so I'll be sure to keep that for next month's rewind. And I also want to discuss my empties for this month. I feel like it's going to be a bit more fun to do this on a monthly basis as opposed to dedicating a whole video just discussing emptied out products. So the first product I emptied out is the Mcgrath Labs Dark Star Mascara. It's not really empty, but it is very dried out. I've had it for a few months in my collection, so it's kind of hit the point where it's way too dry. You can see that. But I had such a great experience with this mascara. It did wonders for the length and volume of my lashes. It wore really nicely and didn't transfer on my oily lids. I think it definitely goes in my top favorite mascaras of all time and will certainly be repurchasing it. And the next product that I emptied out this month is actually a skincare product, and it is the Ole Henriksen C-Rush Brightening Gel Cream. I think this was my 4th or 5th bottle of this. It is my all-time favorite moisturizer, and I already had a backup in my collection and have opened a new one. I always keep a backup because I know that I will continuously go back to this moisturizer. I think the gel cream consistency in this is so unique. It's not too thick of a cream, but it's also not too watery and light of a gel. It's just the perfect blend of the two, and it provides the perfect balance of hydration and moisture in one product. I think the vitamin C in it has also really helped with my acne scarring and helped to speed up their recovery. I also love the way this smells. It smells so fruity and fresh, and it also gives the most beautiful glow to the skin when you apply it. My only critique with this is that if I apply certain sunscreens immediately on top of it, it does spill. So I have to wait a few minutes before I apply sunscreen to make sure that it's absorbed into my skin and that the sunscreen applies smoothly on top. I think that's pretty much it for this month's rewind. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this kind of video. I've always wanted to do these review videos. I definitely want to start doing them on a monthly basis. Also, let me know if there's any products in the market right now that you love for me to review so I can review them for the next rewind. I did buy the Patrick Ta eyeshadow palette and the Milk setting spray, so I will be testing those out over the course of February, and I will certainly give you guys a review on it. I might also film a first impressions, I'm not too sure yet. Stay tuned for my 3 looks 1 palette with the Pat McGrath Mothership Mega palette. I'm so excited for the looks that I will be creating, including this one. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you're subscribed to my channel, turn the notification bell on so that you can get notified every time I post, and leave a like and comment down below. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!